Welcome and thanks for listening to the Abu Dhabi Transparency House. I'm sitting here with Dingeman from Peterson. We have met yesterday for the first time, but I also know that you've done some previous interviews in the Transparency House. I think we have only 15 minutes, but we have to cut to the chase. So tell us, what is Peterson?
Peterson is a family-owned business. It's almost around for 100 years. This year will be a 100th anniversary. Peterson Control Union for the full name of it. We are a global company in logistics, but also inspections and certifications. And my side of the story is I'm on the Peterson side and very much in the energy logistics. Yeah.
So what does it mean, energy logistics? Do you do this on the country, every country? Do you do this on land or offshore?
We very much specialize in the offshore section. For example, in the Netherlands.
Continue.
In the Netherlands, we are the sole supplier for the 9 active operators, for example. And we are completely facilitating the supply chain. That is from any documentation, from the vessel aspect, from cargo, from people, very much the orchestrator in that whole supply chain, which brings with it quite a bit of complexity.
So I understand you have quite a market position. How do you make it happen that we're here at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week? What's your relation then towards sustainability?
So the sustainability aspect comes in very much in the solutions that we offer, and we believe in a big sharing concept, and maybe in bringing in an innovative solution. It is therefore not so much something completely new, but it's by doing more with less, basically, and that's what we really stand for. So if you look at the Netherlands, for example, taking that example, you had 9 operators that are active. Previously, everybody had their own piece of quayside, their own vessel, their own supply chain, people completely set up to do the logistics aspect of it. And we basically came in and said, okay, let's put everything together, and we can therefore much more decrease the whole supply chain from an asset point of view. So doing with less vessels, less space in the quayside needed, and also in people aspect. So therefore, the carbon emission that we are saving or not bringing into the air is therefore within our solutions, which we already have for a number of years now.
It sounds also a little bit, I'm not in the field of logistics, supply chain management, and certainly not offshore energy in that sense. But it also sounds, if you combine several of the supply chain elements and you do it for a larger public, for a larger group of companies, you create some volume, you have scale, you create more revenue. So wherein does that add to the sustainability, or can you actually make a difference by optimizing that assets you said? And can you give an example of what that looks like?
Can you just summarize it in short, because I'm just a little bit...
That's good. Coincidentally, we had a discussion yesterday and you gave me some figures, so I'm trying to fish for those figures. So you suggested that if you create more efficiency in the assets, you can have a higher, you can have a higher utilization rate. What does it look like in your case?
So again, even at the current, as of today, so again, 20 years ago, we had about 6 or 7 vessels in total. Today, looking at twice as many platforms to supply in the North Sea alone, in the Dutch continental shelf, with the same amount of vessels, even less. And even the next step will be there is looking at the utilization rates of these vessels with deck space. There is again gains to be made. So over these 20 years, we've seen an efficiency gain of between 30 and 40%. And even there, looking at today, there's another 20% in it. Looking alone at the deck space, that's probably one of the figures that you're looking for, and that is still relatively low compared to the vessel that's capable.
And I think part of becoming more efficient is, of course, also a financial incentive. Sustainability is sometimes a secondary. What do you think about that? We are here at the Transparency House. It's also related to the Global Sustainable Enterprise System. It focuses on another type of sustainability. Is that also something that you're embedding in your company?
Yeah, we do. It is still I would say, in some of the customers we operate with, still the financial aspect is very much at the forefront. But more and more you see it driving through is what is the purpose that you're really there for, and sustainability is a huge component. So even in our business, I'm looking for both sides of the coin. So in this case, making things more efficient, but also giving ourselves a bit more space to grow and be sustainable as a company, because we can drive down the cost, we can save a lot of money for our customers, but us as a company, we need to also make sure that we keep investing to keep this technology driving forward. Otherwise, a lot will be gone for no reason.
So, you are familiar with the sustainable enterprise system?
Yeah.
Are you using it?
We are, especially on the procurement side. Besides that, we've in Helder we've looked at the whole base, and we've kind of modeled with all the standards that we have where we sit compared to the sustainability levels. To be honest, I'm quite proud of what we have achieved so far, but there's still a lot of room for improvement and further achievements. Yeah.
So you're already creating this transparency in the market within your supply chain. What is your biggest challenge on competing even at a higher level, not only in efficiency, making good use of your assets, but also in sustainability?
I'm still looking forward to more visibility or more coming through the fact that the factors of the weighing factors in tenders, for example, that these aspects are at the forefront. And still, unfortunately, a lot of this is driven by price. And at the end of the day, I don't think that's the sustainability that we're looking for.
Yeah. There's always a tension between do you go for creating more volume, more revenue or profit versus becoming more sustainable. But you also said in the introduction that you can probably go even 20% more efficient. What challenge do you have to do in order to enable that?
In the logistics supply chain, I mean, a big aspect is that you either have efficiency and flexibility. And these two are kind of like opposing, or almost, you're never going to get in a sweet spot where you maximize efficiency versus or together with flexibility. If you look at our customers, they look for a piece of control. That's what they're familiar with. And in all of that, the big component is the planning aspect. We as a logistical provider, the more planning that we can do up front, the more gains we can make, even keeping a high amount of flexibility there. And that planning aspect is something that we can really strive for to extend. The more in advance we can plan, the more we can save, the more sustainable we can become.
I can also imagine that these customers that you service, they want to have that flexibility, and that goes against your efficiency strives. So how do you manage that? Can you manage your customer in a way that you can actually achieve those goals, or are you simply put at the lower end of the food chain?
Unfortunately, I can't deny that with the position that we're in our core business, we're not always seen as being at the forefront of the food chain. However, in order to actually incentivize our customer that working together and therefore maybe changing your business model and go to more dynamic pricing, you can therefore also move your customer with seeing the benefits in that sense by them cooperating with you. And I think I'm a strong believer that it's not going to be easy to change the attitude of the customer, but that is absolutely the way we need to go.
Do you have a lead for a customer, or already a successful customer where you actually implemented this?
No, we haven't. One of the nice things is with data is the new driver of any basically your energy source for the future. And we have a lot of data, which is very positive, and I believe data can help facilitate that conversation. And that's what we're really looking into now at the moment, and using, for example, in the Netherlands, EBN as well, who's a big part of this whole energy system, to use different angles to get to the customer and drive it forward.
Okay, so I think there's an opportunity there, because you can create with this data, you can make the change. But I can also imagine that your company, being 100 years old, also has some reluctance. It's commonly known that human race doesn't want to change that quickly. How do you feel that's going in your company?
That's a good point. I mean, absolutely. I mean, an amount of conservatism is also seen in our company. I mean, and the way it's grown is very organically. The profit definitely is not number one. It's very much about sustainability. We've come this far. How do we get to the next 100 years, or even in that aspect? So in the company itself, you see there's a change, and the change never goes quick enough, especially for the younger generation. But I'm still a fan of the way that the decisions are made, because we really take them without financial pressure. And I think that's a more healthy situation than in many cases when you are stock listed.
So you can make the change internally. You have partnerships, or you are looking for partnerships that enable also the change into becoming more efficient. You use that through data, which is also a very fashionable word, but it sounds like if I think about it myself, it's all about planning and logistics. So you need to have data in order to get a more precise planning. This is something you are striving through. You are not only financially incentivized, but also working on building transparency and creating a more open future for not only yourselves, but also the suppliers and the suppliers of the suppliers. It makes it look like you are on a very nice track, and I hope that you can find your partnerships and embed this new change into the market so that we can achieve more efficiency. Maybe if we talk end of the year in the next Transparency House, you'll be able to say that you've built on this partnership, that you've successfully implemented it.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Okay, thanks for being here, and thanks for listening, everybody, to the Transparency House here in Abu Dhabi, the Transparency House in the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. And we'll be waiting for our next guest. But thank you, Dingeman, and